Hello, everyone. A very good evening. Hello, everyone. A very good evening. Hello, everyone. A very good evening. All right. So, in today's session, basically, we are going to start looking at the TITA questions. And the focus basically has to be on how to solve them in the best possible manner. Understand that the MCQs, basically, in the MCQs, you have the option to use the pattern, to use the option to work, let's say, backwards. But in the context of TITA question, one has to basically go in a very structured manner. So we'll see, let's say, what is the best possible way to think about the problem. In today's session, basically, I have kept primarily questions from the recent year CAT PYQ and from the area primarily, let's say, from arithmetic. In the upcoming session, basically, we can take up a questions on theta from the algebra sections. These are the list of the batches which are going to start in the month of July. So it is there for CAT 26. These are the, let's say, last few batches for this particular year. And we also are starting with the CET batches as well. So let's get started. I hope people can hear me out properly. And we are going to start, let's say, with a very nice question on time and work. It's a very good problem. So how are we going to approach this question? So kindly, let's say, put your response on the YouTube chat. I'm reading that particular chat and I'm going to respond to that. So please spend a couple of minutes. So I'm giving you 2 minutes to think about the approach. How do we solve this problem? How do we approach this? Can I get some response on the chat? One more minute. All right, so let me start with this question. So over here, what they have given is it's a time and work question. And they've told here the amount of job that Amal, Sunil, and Kamal can individually do in a day are in harmonic progression. Now, this I would say is one of the word which can, let's say, possibly put you off to not attempt this particular question because we know very little about, let's say, HP. So whenever someone studies, let's say, sequence and series, they must have, let's say, spent a good amount of time on learning more concepts of AP and GP and very less on harmonic progression. Fine, we will, let's say, go further. Kamal takes twice as much time as Amal to do the same amount of job. Fair enough. If Amal and Sunil work for 4 days and 9 days respectively, Kamal need to work for 16 days to finish the remaining job. Fair enough. The number of days Sunil will take to finish the job working alone will be how much? So again, it is not a very straightforward problem. But if I, let's say, look at the proper approach, this question will become very straightforward. The main thing is to decode the first two lines. So if I look at the first two lines, let's say properly, and before that, we can look at this particular aspect. We have three individual. I can say Amal, Sunil, and Kamal over here. And they told you amount of job that A, S, and K can individually do in a day. So they are in HP. What is an HP? The rate of work, or you might say per day work of A, S, and K are going to be in HP. I can use the term rate of work, per day work, or I can use the term efficiency. Then efficiency basically are following a AP. Now we know one particular thing that in case suppose efficiency are going to be in, let's say, HP, and how does efficiency and the number of days taken connected? So for the same amount of work, if I ask you, how do you think efficiency and number of days are going to be related? And the answer is they are reciprocal of each other. And the main property, as I told you, people are going to leave this particular sum only because of HP. But understand what is an HP series. If you look at, if you say a sequence follows the HP, it simply means the reciprocals are going to form a AP. So please note the number of days taken has to be nothing but reciprocal of efficiency. And hence it has to be nothing but this series, the number of days are going to follow nothing but a arithmetic progression. Are going to follow a arithmetic progression. The main thing was to decode. The first sentence can be rephrased as the number of days taken by Amal, Sunil, and Kamal for an individual, let's say, are going to follow a arithmetic progression. And then if I read the next sentence, they are saying Kamal take twice as much time as Amal for the same amount of job. What does it mean? Let's say, for example, if the person Amal takes 1 day, now, for the same amount of work, the person Kamal will take nothing but 2 days. Now, please note one something two is going to follow a AP. And please note that in case of an AP, terms are going to be equidistant, equally spread. So this number of days for Sunil should come out to be nothing but equals to a 1.5. So one can say 1, 1.5 and 2, you can say are the ratio of the days taken by Amal, Sunil, and Kamal over here. And if I possibly want to avoid this decimal sign, what I can do is let's multiply by 2 because it's ultimately a ratio. And what we know about the ratio is a ratio remains unchanged if you multiply the entire quantity by the same number. So if I, let's say, multiply by 2, one get nothing but a 2 is to 3 is to 4. So this, I would say, is the main thing which you can possibly infer with the help of the first and the second sentence. And now the sum will become really simple. Obviously, people can again make a mess out of it by creating a lot of equations and so on. But if I focus on my output, the output says find out the number of days taken by Sunil to complete the work alone. Sunil to complete the work alone. So what we are going to do is because we have the comparison given that for the same amount of work, Amal takes 2 days, S will take 3 days, and K will take 4 days. So whatever work was done, let's say by Kamal or possibly Amal, I am going to convert them into equivalent number of days taken by the person Sunil. So if I read my story, if Amal and Sunil work for 4 days and 9 days, so if I ask you, if I take suppose 4 day work of Amal, Now, 4 days work of, let's say, Amal would be same as one can say nothing but 6 days work of Sunil. Because if I do into 2, 2 into 2 is 4, so 3 into 2 has to be equal to a 6. So please note this 4-day work of Amal. So 4-day work of A converts to one can say 6 day of S. 6 day of S. And then they told you further that Sunil also has worked for 9 days. So fine. We also have 9-day work, let's say, by the person Sunil over here. So this is what we have at the moment. Sunil basically also have worked for 9 days. I will take that part also into consideration. And finally, they have told you then Kamal need to work for 16 days to finish the remaining job. So if I ask you, if Kamal worked for 4 days, then it is as good as saying Sunil has worked for 3 days. So if I say Kamal has worked for 16 days, this thing one can say would be as good as 12 days work of Sunil. So we have converted everything, let's say, in terms of how much time Sunil will take. So now things become very, very straightforward that 6-day work of Sunil, 12-day work of Sunil, and also we know S has worked for 9 more days. If I look at the total of these three numbers, 6, 12, and 9, the total become equals to 27. And that is the answer of this question. So please note, we have not taken the help of any variable over here. As I told you, the main thing to crack this particular sum was to convert that first sentence from an HP relation to a AP relation. And people know a lot of good property regarding the arithmetic progression. So 27 is the answer for this particular question. All right, so we are going to now move to the next question. And the next question belongs to the area of one can say ratios. Again, I would say a easy problem. So spend some time, take a minute, and then you will look at, let's say, multiple approaches. I will give you 2, 3 approaches to crack this theta problem. I hope people have understood the previous one. If any doubts are there, please feel free to ask me. Huh? I will repeat any component if you fail to understand. Kindly participate and also let's say try to give a rating to a particular question. Is it straightforward? It's an easy one, medium one. Okay, good. I can get some answers already. Very good. Okay, I will explain. If I look at the previous question again, someone have a doubt regarding how we got a 1.5. Good question raised by Prachi. So understand, Prachi, in case I ask you when three numbers are in AP, when do you call the three numbers to be in AP? Suppose if I say A, B, and C are in AP. For that, do you think the difference? So over here, B must be the average. This Prachi, B is the average of these two numbers. So it must be equals to A plus C by 2. So when I took the numbers, A has taken 1 day. In that case, let's say K will take 2 days. Then what is the average of 1 and 2? So 1 plus 2 divided by 2 will give you 1.5. And just to avoid the decimal sign, I have multiplied the entire numbers by 2 so that they become decent 2, 3, and 4. Hope this is clear now. All right. Yeah, this one, good, Ashita. Others, kindly participate and let's learn. Anyone else with the answer? Anyone else? I already got one response. Okay, good. Good, Yash. Good, Abhijit. Very nice. So fine, let us solve this question also. So let's see the right approach and kindly participate. In case you have a doubt with the approach, please let me know. Let us read the story first. Here they are saying you that the stock A, B and C are priced at rupee 120, 90 and 150 per share. So the price is given to you for stock A, B, C. Then they told you a trader holds a portfolio comprising of or consisting of 10 shares of stock A. Very good. Then 20 shares of B and C put together. So if I look at here, they have given you something hidden. So 20 shares of B and C together. Right now, I don't know how much out of this 20 is share A and share B and share C. It could be, I don't know, 20 of let's say B, 0 of C, 19 of B, 1 of let's say C, and it could be having multiple other possibility. How do you find that? And for that, they have told you if the total value of her portfolio is rupee 3,300, then the number of shares of stock B that C holds. So if you look at this, I would say is a very, very straightforward problem. Obviously, we can look at multiple, let's say, approaches to solve this particular question. So the first one definitely has to be, one can say, the approach of one can say using variable, using algebra. So I can write down and A, B, and C. The price is known to us as 120 for A, 90 for B, and 150 for C. The per share price is known to me. Now they are also, let's say, given about the number of shares of A which I hold. So the quantity of stock A they have told you is 10 given to us. Now please note, I don't know how much of B and how much of C, but the thing is together, together of B and C must be equal to the number 20. So here, what you can do is people can take two variable. Do you agree? People can take two variable. You can say X number of, let's say, B and let's say Y number of C and X plus Y must be equals to 20. That you can do. You can take two variable. But if I want to reduce the number of variable, I can take one of them as X and then other will become 20 minus X. Give me a yes or a no on the chat. I can take one of the quantity of share to be X. The other one basically will become nothing but a 20 minus X over here. So obviously one can say you can either take X be the quantity for the stock B or let's say for stock C. But if I look at the output says find out the number of shares of stock B. So one can say let's assume X number of stocks for B. So 20 minus X stocks for C over here. And how do I relate? Do I have, let's say, any further information? And the answer is so far we have used this 120, 90, 150. Even we have taken the help of 10 and 20. The only thing remaining is about the total value of the portfolio. The total value of the portfolio should be equal to 3,300. And how do I find out the value of the portfolio? You can say value of the, let's say, stock A in total, the value of stock B in total, the value of stock C in total, and then the addition of this will give me the value of my entire portfolio. So I can frame one more equation. So one can say 120 into 10 plus a 90 into X plus 150 into a 20 minus X. This will represent total value of the portfolio, and this quantity must be equals to a 3300. And now a very simple thing, you got a single equation and we only have one unknown right now. We can very much easily find out the value of X. Yes or no, people? So one gets a 1200 plus a 90X plus a 3000X minus 150X equals to 3300. You let's say keep X on one side. So right now, suppose if I take one more step, which I should not ideally. So one can say 4200 minus 60x is equals to 3300. If I bring 3300 on the left hand side, one basically will get 900 is equals to a 60x. So x become equals to a 15. So x become equals to 15. That means the number of stocks of share B which I have taken must be equals to a 15 over here. And that is the answer for this question. So very, let's say straightforward, very straightforward over here using the variables. Now, what about, let's say, if I want to solve the same problem with the help of some other approach? And what could be the other approach? And this is what we can say over here. We can take the help of allegation. So how many of you possibly have thought about solving this sum with the help of allegation? Can I get some response on the chat? The same, let's say, problem with the help of allegation technique. Yes, exactly. Yes, you can solve this sum with the help of two variable. See, I have just shown you one of the approaches and that too with the help of a single variable. Now I'm going to solve the problem with the help of allegation. So those people, let's say, who know the concept of allegation would be able to relate this comfortably. So let's see what can I do in this particular scenario. Uh, if I ask you this few questions, huh? Yes, I am also going to cover without variable as well. Huh? So method number two will come allegation, and third method, which I would say you can do it orally. Third method, you can do it, let's say, orally as well. So let's see how we are going to solve it. Huh? So all of you, let's say, kindly participate and try to answer my question on the chat. So if you look at here, what we can do is because they have told you 20 stocks of B and C put together, first of all, I am going to consider B and C as one single group. So B and C, stock A as well. So for stock number A, the value was nothing but 120 per share. For stock B and C right now, I don't know. I don't know how much is the average price because I don't know how much of B and how much of C. Do you agree, people? How much of B and how much of C is not known to me. But if I ask you one thing, total number of share in the portfolio, total number of share in the portfolio, is it 30? Total number of share in the portfolio is 30. Yes or no on the chat? So total portfolio value was 3,300. We have 30 shares. Does it mean the average price per share should be equals to 110? People give me yes or no. Average price per share should be equals to a 110. So if I take a 110, and what we also possibly know about the ratio of the number of stocks. So if I have 10 stocks of A, I have 20 stocks of B and C put together. And these two are going to be in what ratio? Nothing but 1:2. If I apply the allegation concept, 120 minus 10 becomes a 10. Now, this number over here must be half. Why half? Because the ratio of A and B plus C is 1:2. This is going to be 5 here. Now, this number over here must be equals to, one can say, 105. Because we know that it has to be, this part is nothing but equals to high minus average. This is high minus average. And this one can say would be equals to average minus low. Average minus low. So right now what we know is that we have got the combined price or the average price of stock B and stock C put together. So stock B, stock C, total are 20 numbers. Stock B price one can say is 90. Stock B C price basically happens to be equals to 150. And if I combine them in some ratio, I don't know how much right now, the combined value in terms of per share should be equals to 105. The average price per share of B and C share together must be equals to 105. You look at the ratio now. Again, average minus low, 15. High minus average will give you a 45. And do you see that the required ratio of B and C become 3:1? What does it mean? If I possesses 4 shares of B and C together, out of that your B has to be 3 and let's say C has to be 1. So out of 20, the share of B has to be 15 and the share of C has to be a 5. So again, this is also one approach. Again, it depends on the level of confidence which you have possibly to apply the allegation under the exam condition. Otherwise, you, let's say, can solve with the help of the previous approach as well. Are we all able to understand this approach? And can I now move to the easiest one, which will just going to take a few seconds to solve it? Shall I? So let's say The best approach. Now, please pay attention, and then I want the response on the chat for all of you. So, what is known to us is the price of A, B, and C. The price of A is 120. For B, it is given to you as 90. For C, it is given to you as a 150, the price. Now, again, I repeat, the quantity of A has been told to you as 10, and the quantity of B and C they have told you is 20. Is told you is 20. What I will do is, right now, for a brief moment, let me assume that 20 I'm splitting equally as 10 and 10. So 10 of A and 10 of C. And then let's say I want to understand what is going to happen to the portfolio value if suppose B and C are 10 and 10. So do you think the value of the stock A will become 1200? The value of the stock B will become 900, and the value of the stock C will become 1500. Can someone help me out in this scenario? How much do you think is the total portfolio value? On the chat, everyone. Portfolio value in this case, if I assume 10, 10, 10. This 10 was certain. I just split this 20 equally as 10 and 10 first of all. Can someone give me the response on this? Is this part coming out to be 3600? People on the chat, it's come out to be equals to a 3600. But what do you think is the actual portfolio value? 3300. So now if I ask you a simple question, does it mean, do you want to reduce the portfolio value? Do you want to reduce the portfolio value, people? Give me yes or no. So let me ask you, do you want more number of B and lesser number of C? Think logically. I would say think logically. Do you want more number of B and lesser number of C? Give me yes or no. Do you want more number of Bs and lesser number of Cs? Yes, logical, very logical, because the price of B is lower. Now just tell me one thing. Suppose if I take one more B, if I take one more B, and that means if I take one lesser C, what is going to happen? Just reply in the chat. If I take one more stock B and one lesser stock C, this will reduce my portfolio value by how much? I repeat again, if I take one more of B and one less of C, do you think the portfolio value will reduce by 60 people? Yes or no? All of you, I repeat, if I take one more stock of B and one less stock of C, in that case, do you think the portfolio value will reduce by 60 people? Yes. Let me ask you, to reach your actual number of 3300, do you want to reduce? Do you want to reduce the portfolio value to 300? Do you want to reduce the portfolio value by 300 from 3600 to a 3300? You want to reduce the portfolio value by 300. Reply. For that change to happen, do you want the number of B to go up by 5 actually and C to come down by 5? Yes. So did we get 15? Did we get 15 of B and let's say 5 of C, people? Do you think this was a very logical and simplest approach? Can I get some chat response from the chat, people? I hope all of you understood the idea behind it. Fine. Again, it's not about solving it in this manner only. I'm just saying people who are comfortable with the help of variables, use variable. Some of you can take the help of the concept of averages, allegation, and this was also a very, very simple approach over here. Yes, totally agree. Let us now move to some other question. Okay, this one. Yes, Devjit. Yes, Devjit. Yes, yes, Mihir. Actively participate. Again, note, obviously, in case of, let's say, this type of questions which are on theta lines, You don't have always a shortcut. So you have to, let's say, solve it the hard way. But how to reduce the effort is the main thing. So fine, let us solve this question. I'm just going to give you 1 more minute. Any thought process? How do we start? All right, let me know. How do you start? Huh? So again, note in case of theta, it's very, very important. How do you assume the starting numbers? Or even if you take a variable, how do you take those variables into consideration? So let's read the sum, and I will again ask you for some cues. In a class, in a class, there were more than 10 boys. So there's condition regarding the number of boys to be more than 10. Now, these are important condition. It might look how to use it, but you need to keep this condition in mind. And a certain number of girls. There's no condition given on the number of girls at the moment. Then they told you after 40% of the girls, fair enough, and 60% of the boys left the class. So fine. The remaining number of girls and sorry, the remaining number of girls was 8 more than the remaining number of boys. Fine. And then they use the term. This is very, very common nowadays in the CAT exam that they will ask you for maximization and minimization. And for that, you need to be very, very careful. They told you least the minimum possible number of student initially in the class. Initially in the class. So my first question to you is, moment you see something like a 40% and a 60%, what do you see? Can I see, if you see, look at the number 40% and 60%, what fraction comes to your mind, people? On the chat, what fraction do you see? Is it people 2 by 5 and 3 by 5? 2 fifth and 3 fifth? Do you all agree, people? So does that mean one thing, that in case I want to talk about the number of boys and the number of girls, should they be a multiple of 5? People, should they be a multiple of 5? Give me a yes or a no on the chat. Since 40% means 2/5 of something, 60% would mean nothing but one can say 3/5 of something. So basically, your total number of girls and number of boys, each of them should be a multiple of 5. So do you think a good start, a possible good start to assume the number of girls as 5G and the number of boys as 5B? We can take 5x and 5y also. Please reply in the chat. So suppose if I take the number of girls, I'm taking them as 5G. Again, the reason for 5G is because I can see a 5 coming out in the denominator. And boys, let's say a 5B over here. Now, if you look at, there's a condition being given regarding the number of girls was 8 more. The remaining, The remaining number of girls was 8 more than the number of boys. So basically, I want to frame an equation. I want to frame an equation. So please tell me, if I say 40% of the girl have left, if 40% basically have left, how many will remain? I'm just focusing on remaining. You can write down the number of girls who left also, and then you can subtract from total number of girls to find out the remaining. How many girls will remain in the class on the chat? Do you think 60% people? Remaining has to be a 60%. Give me yes or no on the chat. Because if 40% leaves, remaining must be 60%. And for the boys, if 60% boys have left, that means 40% will remain. Are all of you okay with this? So please reply if I ask you how much is 60% of 5G? Good, Mihir. 60% of the number 5G, if I ask you, 3/5 of 5G will give you 3G. And 40% of 5G, so 5B, sorry. So 2/5 of 5B will give you a 2B. And if I want to, let's say, frame an equation with this number 8, with this number 8. So tell me, all of you on the chat, what do you think my equation must be? Will it be 3G plus 2B equals to 8 or something else? The number of girls was 8 more than the number of boys which are remaining. So will it be 2B minus 3G as 8 or a 3G minus 2B equals to 8? What? On the chat. It must be 3G minus 2B equals to a 8 over here. And let me ask you before I proceed further, what do you think must be the nature of G and B? Do you want G and B to be a proper integer, all of you? Do we want G and B to be a proper integer? Reply. Can let's say G be 0.1 and the answer is no. In that case, those terms 3G and 2B are going to come out to be in decimal. Agree? The variable G and B has to be some positive integer, right, people? Now, any condition, because it told you the number of boys were more than 10, does it mean I took the number of boys as 5B? So my condition must be 5B is more than 10. That means my B should be more than 2. Yes or no? My B has to be more than 2. So what we can do is we can do some hit and trial approach also if I want to. So 3G should be equals to ideally a 8 plus 2B. 3G should ideally be equals to 8 plus 2B. And G, you can say must be equals to nothing but 8 plus 2B divided by 3. 8 plus 2B divided by 3 over here. So can someone reply in this particular context, what is the least value of B I can think about? Forget about this condition for time being that B need to be more than 2. If I want B to be a positive integer, all of you on the chat, do you think B equals to 2 is perfectly all right? People reply. B equals to 2, perfectly all right. I'm saying for the time being, ignore this condition, B more than 2. Mihir, Prithvi, Devjit, Aryan, Yash, Prachi. Yes, people. So if I take suppose B to be equals to 2, what do you think happened to the value of G? So G become equals to 4. Well, let me ask you, can we take this number? Can we possibly take this scenario? No, because they have told you B to be more than 2. If my objective is to minimize total number of people, does it mean in a way I have to minimize the value of B? If I minimize the value of B, the value of let's say G is also going to become minimum, correct? So tell me, you must have done this particular part. Once we get one solution, which is 4 and 2, even though I won't take this into consideration, what do you think is the next value for B? You know the approach, sir. We take the value of B. The value of B should increase by 3. Give me yes or no. The value of B should increase by 3. This will lead to, one can say, the value of B to be equals to a 5. And will this lead to an increase in the value of G by 2? All of you, if you put the value of B to be equals to, one can say, a 5, the term G will become nothing but 8 plus 10, 18. 18 divided by 3 is equal to 6. How many of you know this technique? If I increase the value of B by 3, the value of G will increase by 2 because of slope concept. People, because of slope concept. Do you agree? So I won't be taking 4 comma 4 and 2 scenario because B was more than 2. I repeat again, because B was more than 2. Do you agree? So do you think this is acceptable? B as 5 and G as 6, people. Do you think B as 5 and G as 6 acceptable? Yes. If you suppose put B as 5, you can say least number of boys are 30. And the term 5G will become equals to, sorry, this will become 25. And girl becoming a 30. So total student will become, one can say, 55. Total student will become equals to a 55 over here. Are we able to understand this? Yes. So you find out one solution, and then you can obviously put, let's say, b to b equals to of 3, then a 4, and then a 5, and you stop wherever you get the good value for g over here. Fine. So what we were doing is we were trying to find out, let's say, the value of b and also the value of g separately. And the objective was to take as low value as possible. As low value as possible. Now, I'm just playing around this particular question. So what do you think is going to happen if I possibly talk about the next subsequent value? Can someone tell me the next subsequent value? So you can say b will become 8, b becoming 8, and I think g also becoming 8. Is it true, people? B becoming 8 and G also becoming 8. Yes or no? Correct. And let me ask you, in this particular case, for B as 8 and G as 8, what do you think about total number of student? Total number of student, one can say, will become equals to hopefully a 40 plus 40 giving you a 80. So if you see, the smallest possible scenario could have been, if I'm not mistaken, 30. This was not taken into account because they told you the number of boys constraint. And then the second scenario basically came out to be a 55. So do you see a particular trend getting followed here, people? If I don't take this condition into account, then I can see the possibility being 30, then the next possibility being 55, then the next possibility being equals to a 80. Do you see a trend in these numbers? 30, 55, 80, and what then if I ask you next number? 30, 55, 80, and then what is the next number? Even though it's not required for the problem. Will it be 105? Will it be equals to a 105? Aryan, Mihir, Yash, Prithviraj, 105, right? So suppose if I say the question wording is modified, everything else remain the same. In the last part, that tells you the total number of students in the class is less than 100. And you want to find out the max number of student. If I just change the last line and I say the number of student in the class is less than 100, and now I say I want to maximize the number of student, will you mark 80 as the answer in that case? Will you mark 80 as the answer in that case? Right? So 80 will become the answer in case I obviously modify the problem and I convert the min problem to a max problem. Clear? Now let's see if something can be done. Suppose if I have got this relation, can I do something else from this step? This 3g minus 2b equals to a 8 over here. I'm just trying it out. So see, again, please note, you have to keep your focus in mind. The focus has to be on minimizing the number of students. That means I have to want to minimize something like 5 times of g plus b, right? And we have a limitation regarding the value of b. So can first of all tell me the term 3g, as you told me, will be equals to a 8 plus 2b. This we have got already. Now, since I want to comment something on g plus b or a b plus g sum, can someone tell me what you possibly want to add? Can someone help me out here? What would you possibly want to add here on both sides? If I want a term of b to be added, should I possibly add a 3b term? So if you add a 3b on both sides, people, if you add a 3b on both sides, will you get this type of scenario? 3 times of g plus b will be equals to a 8 plus 5b. Give me yes or no on this. 3 times of g plus b will be equals to a 8 plus 5b. And now again, as I told you, my objective is to find out the minimum value of g plus b. I want to find out the minimum value of g plus b. So I will divide this number by, let's say, possibly a 3 here. And then I want to find out the least value of b such that this number into 5 is my required answer. This number into 5 is my required answer. So can someone tell me what value of b works for you? What value of b will work for you? People, look at this part and tell me quickly what value of b. Obviously, b has to be more than 2. Just check, will b equal to 3 will work, b3 won't work, b4 won't work. If you put, let's say, b as 5, you get 8 plus 25, which is 33. Divide by 3 will give you 11. 11 into 5 becomes a 55. So 55 is the answer for this theta question. Obviously, you can use the previous approach also. Okay, we are going ahead now. This is an easy question. Let me just look at some nice ones. Yeah. Yeah, this one I will prefer first. We'll work backwards. All of you try this. Again, a very good question. And again, in this, some people can make mistakes. So take a minute, and then we are going to look at the good approach. Anyone is able to build a right approach? Kindly participate, people. Even if you are failed to, let's say, get the right answer, at least participate. Tell us what you are able to think properly. Anyone with the answer? Anyone? Mihir, Yash, Prithvi, Aryan, Prachi, Devajit. All right, so let me discuss about the possible approach here. So this is a common approach people will apply here, I feel. The ratio of the number of coins in the boxes A and B was 17 is to 7. Fine. After 108 coin were shifted from box A to box B, this ratio became 37 is to 20. So from this information, what do you think one can possibly find out? No, 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 Aryan. Okay. Okay, Yash, hear me out. I will discuss about the longer approach and then the shortcut also. Listen carefully. So, do you people have a habit? Because if I say, listen carefully, Yash, box A and box B, they have given the initial ratio basically as 17 is to 7. 17 is to 7. Can I take the initial number of coin in box number A and box number B to be 17x and 7x? Can we do that? And the answer is yes. This can very much be do, right, people? 17x and let's say 7x can be taken as the initial number of coin in box number A and box number of B. Then they told the next sentence, after 108, coin were shifted from box number A to box number B. Does it mean the number of coin in box number A will come down by 108 people, and the number of coin in box number B will go up by 108? Do you agree? The number of coins in box number A will reduce by 108 and the number of coins in box number B will increase by 108. Yes or no? So after this transfer, do you all agree then box number A will now going to contain 17x minus 108 number of coins, and box number B will now going to contain 7x plus 108, not 180. Yes. And now if I ask you, is the new ratio, I will say, is 37 is to 20. Is the new ratio going to be equals to a 37 is to 20 people? So tell me this ratio, which you can say 17x minus 108 over 7x plus 108. Should I say this must be equals to a 37 by 20? All of you reply in the chat. On the chat. So from this, if I ask you, if I cross multiply and bring x on one side and the number on the other side, do you think we can find out the value of x? On the chat, everyone, Yash, Mihir. From this, if I do a cross multiplication, you only have one variable at the moment. You only have one variable at the moment. Do you think we can find out the value of x comfortably? Yes or no on the chat? How much is the value of x, people? How much is the value of x? Anushka, yes. How much is the value of x from here? If I cross multiply, I'm not solving that part right now at the moment. How much do you think is the value of x? X came out to be 76. People, x came out to be equals to a 76. So you can say this is going to become 340x minus 108 into 20. 37 times of 7, I think, is equals to what? 210 plus 49, 259x plus a 108 into 37. See, sometime I'm not evaluating this result. I'm not finding out this result right now. So if you subtract 340x minus this number will give you possibly 81x. And that I think should be equals to, I can take 108 common, and this part will become possibly 57. Then we can possibly cancel, hopefully. I think 27 threes are 27 fours are 3 is 19 times. I think x came out to be a 76. Yes or no? But please note, x is not the answer. X is not the answer. So you will do one thing, you will find out, okay, how many, let's say, what is the value of x, number of coins in box number A, box number B here. So can someone give me the value? How much is coming out to be 17x and 7x? People, see, the point is, first of all, try to learn the hard way and then you will possibly appreciate the better methods. How much is 17x and the term 7x? So 17x basically would be equals to, I think, a 2, then I think a 10. So just give me yes or no if am I right or wrong. 1292. This part will become hopefully 532. People, the right people. 1292 and 532 are the initial number of coins in box number A and box number B. So what do you think will happen after the transfer? So you might say 17x minus 108. And what will that lead to? If I increase this number by 108, this will become 640, right, people? 640. And if I decrease this number by 108, do I get 1184? Just see. I hope it is right so far. Now, what about if I want to make the ratio 1:1? If I ask you total number of coin one can say would be equal to some 4. I think we have total of 4, 2, 1824. Am I right, people? Total number of coins in box number 1, box number 2 is total 1824. If I want ratio to be 1:1, I want equal number. So do you think it must be equals to a 912 possibly? 912 here and 912. Now please look at the wording. Cat plays with the wording. They told you the number of coins that need to be shifted further. So let me ask you in this further, are you going to count the initial 108 on the chat? Are we going to include the initial 108 which was transferred? The initial 108, and the answer for that basically has to be a no. So please tell me, if you look at from 640 to a 912, it's an increase of 272. Yes or no? It's a increase of a 272 in B, or you might say it's a decrease of 272 in A. Am I right? So the answer for this question basically would be a 272. So if I ask you a question, how many of you have done something similar, more or less the same problem? On the chat, how many of you have done something similar? We will now see a much, much better method without equations and so on. Without equation and so on. Anyone? What method you possibly have applied? Anyone use something different? Shall I now show you the best method to solve this problem without so much of calculations? So do you agree that this question involves some calculation? Numbers also were not so easy. Yes or no? So show me some like on the chat. Let me now discuss the best approach, people. Huh? Let's look at the nice approach. So over here, I will only going to talk in terms of ratios. And if I talk about any other quantity right now, it's a noise for me. It's a noise for me. So please actively involve yourself and try to answer on the chat. You must have seen this type of problem very, let's say, normally in the classes also earlier in the context of ratios, people. If I ask you one thing, that what has not changed? It's a very, very important thing to ask yourself in the context of ratio. What has not changed? Can someone answer this question? What do you think has not changed? Anyone? On the chat, just give me the main in one single few words. What do you think has never changed after the transfer? Do you believe the transfer was happening within the boxes? Box A has lost, box B has gained. Do you all agree that the total number of coins in box A and box B together has never changed? On the chat, total number of coins. I repeat again, total number of coins in box A and box B together has never changed. I hope all of you are fine with this. Total number of coins in box number A and box number B has not changed. This is very similar to, if you remember, I suppose tell you that the ratio of the age of the father and the son is some number, x is to y. And let's say after few number of years, the ratio between the age of father and the son being, let's say, again some other ratio. Now, in that scenario of father and son, do you think the difference in their age will never change? All of you, in the context of father and son scenario, the age problem, the age gap will remain constant. Do you agree? That is the underlying, let's say, concept being over here. So because if you look at initially, the ratio of A and B was 17:7. Can someone tell me the total here in terms of sum of the ratios quickly? 24. And then after the first transfer, it became 37:20. What about total? The total become, I think, 57. Total become 57. Do you all agree? On the chat, at least give me a yes. Yes, sir. Total will never change. Total will never change. Yes, people. Total will never change. Yes or no? So please tell me for the if I want the same number, if I can possibly get the same number at both the places, then basically I have reached my target. If I get the same number at both the places, I will be able to achieve my target. So can someone tell me for the number 24 and 57, I want a common number. Which number is divisible by both 24 and 57? Anyone? If I look at 24 closely, please listen carefully. 24 is actually 3 into 8. 57 actually is 3 into 19. Just tell me one thing that, sir, multiply 24 by 19. Multiply 24 with 19 and multiply 57 by 8. Give me yes or no. Will their total will be equal? Will total going to be then equal? On the chat, everyone, if I do this number 24 into 19, this I think will become 456, right? 456. And for that, I will do the same thing here also. If I am multiplying by 19 to keep the ratio unchanged, I will do this. How many of you agree with this thing? So can someone help me out? The first number, 17 times of 19, I think will become 323. 7 times of 9, I think will become 133, hopefully. 37 times of 8, will it be equals to 296? And this will become 160. Are all of you okay with this? Because see again, wrote right now, I have not even used the term 108 for that moment. I have not even used the term 108 at the moment. Now tell me one thing, if total is 456, at the end also, I want total to be 456 and I want the number to be equal. I want the number of coin box number A and box number to be same. Why? Because the ratio has to be 1 is to 1. So can someone tell me what is half of the number 256? Anyone on the chat? Half of 456, 228. Yes or no? 228. So now let me ask you, how much I need to increase? Forget about again that number 108. I am not using it at the moment. Do you think we need to further give a 68? People, have I, do you think we have to give a further 68 here? Give me yes or no. Yes or no, people? A further 68 I have to give. How much do you think I have given initially to B? A 27. All of you tell me yes or a no. Initially, I gave a 27. Now I have to give a further 68. Give me a yes or a no or a thumbs up on the chat. Initially, B got increased by 27. Now I want to further increase by the number 68. And now, if I use the main number, which is 108, if I use the number 108, let me ask you, is it some multiple of 27? Is the number 108 happens to be some multiple of 27? How much times? Anyone? Is this number into 4? People, is this number by any chance into 4? That means I need to further increase or further transfer a 68 times of 4, giving you what quantity? Will this number come out to be as 272? A 272. All of you on the chat, all of you on the chat, are you able to understand this? And tell me, was this method much, much better than the variable approach? Because the main thing to focus on was that total has never changed. The total has never changed. Agree? Yes or no? This one again is straightforward. Okay, fine. Let's do the last sum. I have used it now. Okay, someone had a query. So see, I have used it. I use this number 108 here. Or if you want the actual number, you can use it. You can scale it up. If you want, see, in the ratio term, if I go till this particular point, then you might say in your numbers, in your simple numbers, I can see it's an increase of 27 here. Or you might say it's a drop of 27 here. If you want to get the actual number at this point of time, just do into 4 now. Scale everything by 4. Okay. Just do into 4 everywhere and then you proceed. But I was doing it at the very end to keep the number smaller. I hope the point is clear why I did at the very end to keep the number smaller and then scale it up at the end. I've used it. It has to be used. I'm saying we are using it at towards the end. I'm dealing with the ratios at the start and finally with that number to do the final scale up or a scale down thing. Clear? Okay, this one. Not so difficult. Anyone with the answer now for this one? It's a simple one. Do let me know in case, let's say, you want us to cover few more types in the sense, maybe sir, more of algebra, maybe let's say theta or permutation combination. So maybe we can incorporate the same in the upcoming sessions. Okay, people. So anyone, any takers for this question? Escalator. Can someone tell me that this type of sum of escalators basically are similar to what concept in TSD? Anyone can tell me in the chat? The sum on the escalators are similar to what concept in TSD? Is it, people, is it upstream, downstream? Yes. Is the concept similar to upstream and downstream? So in case suppose you are traveling in a boat and you are going downstream, you are going with the flow of the current. So will you be able to cover the distance lesser time? And the answer basically would be a yes over here, right? What about in case you choose to go against the current? Then definitely to cover the same distance, you will take more time because you're working against the current. So same is the concept in this particular case. The main focus in this type of problem has to be always looking at total distance. Or you can say in this context, total steps. Total steps is what we need to focus on. Now, it's not the right term. If someone uses the term relative speed, it is not the right term. It has to be the term effective speed and not the term relative speed. Okay? It is the term effective speed and not the term relative speed. They are two different things altogether. So in this context, let's read the sentence. What they are saying is, Moody takes 30 seconds to finish riding an escalator if he walks on it at his normal speed in the same direction. If I may ask you to find out the total number of steps. Here, do you think Moody and let's say escalator are basically doing the same kind of work? People, Moody and escalator are doing the same amount of work, same type of work? Yes or no? It's a scenario of, let's say, downstream movement. So can I possibly say the speed must be this effective speed, m plus e. Let's say m represents speed of Moody, e represents, suppose, the speed of escalator. And how much time it has taken? Nothing but 30. So are we clear, people? Distance is equal to speed into time. Effective speed becomes m plus e. Time basically is known to us as the number 30 over here. So we have taken the use of the first sentence properly. Now come the second one. He take 20 seconds to finish the riding the escalator if he walks at twice his normal speed. So can someone tell me in the second sentence, what is the change? What do you think is the effective speed, anyone on the chat, with whatever variable I have taken? What do you think is the effective speed on the chat, everyone, in the second case? On the chat, whatever I have taken m as the speed of Moody, normal speed, e being the speed of the escalator. Is it 2m plus e, people? Is it 2m plus e? And this time, the time they have told you taken is 20 seconds. This time they have told you time taken basically happens to be a 20 second. Do you agree? And both of this have done the same work. So you can equate them and you can find out a relation. If I equate them, you can get 30m plus 30e. You can cancel 0 also, possibly first of all. 3m plus 3e is equals to 4m plus 2e. And from this, one gets a very simple thing, which is m is equals to e, hopefully. That means the speed, the normal speed of Moody and the normal speed of escalator basically happen to be nothing but same. Happen to be same. So now you could have taken, let's say, possibly this number as 1, right now. If you take m and e to be equals to 1, total number of steps become nothing but 60. And what they have told you now, if Moody decide to stand still on the escalator, let me ask you over here, if this is what Moody is doing, then who is taking Moody to the top? On the chat, if Moody decide to stand still, it simply mean m is 0 now? Yes or no? This time they are saying you keep m as 0. M is not doing any work at all. So whatever work is done by the escalator. Yes or no, people? So I have taken e to be equals to 1. So step is 60. Who will take it? Escalator. 60 divided by 1 will give you a 60 seconds. Will give you a 60 seconds. That is the answer for this simple question. This is the answer for this simple question. So again, people can take the help of ratios also over here to arrive at the answers. I hope people have enjoyed the session. You let us know on the, let's say, comment section once the live is going to be over. If any queries are unanswered, I will, let's say, handle them personally. And I think we can, let's say, discuss them for sure. Fine. This again, let's say, are the details of the batches, upcoming batches. One is just started a day back. So 8th, 15th of July. Then we have one CET batch coming up on 13th of July and then one on 24th of July. So kindly spread the word among your study group. Let your friend knows about the same so they can get benefited for the same. Yeah. Fine. Let me just discuss the last step. Okay. Anushka, the thing is, we have found out, let's say, m to be equals to e equals to 1, let's say. Or if you want, you can take them in a variable form also. So I just took this part, m equals to e we got, and we equated to be equals to 1. Now, if you put m to be equals to e equals to 1, so what do you think this part will come out to be? 1 plus 1 into 30 is 60. These are the number of steps. Now, if they have told you, if Moody decide to stand still on the escalator, that means he's not working. He will just stand. He won't walk now. So who will do the work? The work has to be done or the task need to be performed only by the escalator, Anushka. And what is the speed of escalator we have taken? 1. So it's about times. Understand, time is simply equals to distance over speed. We can simply say work upon rate. In this context, work is what? The work is to cover certain steps. Work divided by rate. So work is nothing but 60 steps at the rate of 1 step per second will lead to nothing but 6 seconds at the answer. All right. So hope you people have enjoyed the session, and we are, let's say, bringing good number of live sessions in the coming week as well. Tomorrow also you have some session planned by Karishma ma'am on the BA. Hope to see you, let's say, in the coming Saturday and the next Friday as well. These are the details. Thank you, people, and very good evening to all of you. Yes, yes, MBA exam step. Yes, very much possible. You still have good, let's say, more than 5 months remaining. Bye bye, people. I'm signing off.